Celebration, in times of rising tension, is never just celebration. It is display. It is power. And in Tyre, what was being prepared was no ordinary union. It was a statement to the entire Eastland. Word had begun to spread across kingdoms that a great wedding was to take place, one that would bind Tyre and Sigrid together through blood, alliance, and future rule. King Aaron did not intend for it to be quiet, nor did King Dalot. This was to be seen, to be remembered, to be feared. Preparations began long before the first guest would arrive. Roads leading into Tyre were cleared and reinforced, markets expanded, decorations unlike anything the kingdom had seen before were commissioned, banners woven with symbols of both Tyre and Sigrid, colors blending not just for beauty but for meaning. Livestock was gathered in abundance, grains stored beyond necessity, wine prepared in quantities that spoke not just of celebration alone, but of wealth. Messengers were sent far and wide, carrying invitations not just as requests, but as declarations. Even Hilltops was not left out. King Edwin himself was invited, an honor carrying both honor and intent. To call a king from the mountains into the plains of Tyre was no small gesture. It was a sign that this union was not private, it was political, a gathering of power, a moment where alliances would be seen, measured, and understood by all who attended. In Sigrid, King Dalot received every update with visible satisfaction. This was what he had envisioned, not just a marriage, but a consolidation of influence. His daughter, Gabrielle, would not simply be wed, she would be placed at the center of a rising structure of power. Through her, Sigrid would not stand beside Tyre, it would stand within it. And Dalot, for all his calm exterior, took pride in what was unfolding. Every detail mattered to him, every arrangement, every agreement, every movement toward the day of union. But not all hearts within Sigrid moved with the same energy. Queen Amanda watched it all differently. She did not oppose the wedding, she did not question its purpose, but where others showed enthusiasm, she showed restraint. Where others celebrated, she remained measured. Her presence in the preparations was visible, but her spirit was not fully within it. And those who paid close attention could see it, the slight distance, the quiet withdrawal, the absence of warmth that should have accompanied such a moment. Gabrielle, the bride at the center of it all, was not her daughter. She never had been. The girl's mother had died when she was still an infant, leaving Dalot with a child and a throne to balance alone. Amanda had come into that life later, not as a mother, but as a queen expected to fill a space that could not truly be replaced. She had treated Gabrielle well, with fairness, with dignity, but the bond had never been something deeper. And now, as the young woman prepared to be married into one of the most powerful positions in the Eastland, Amanda found herself standing at a distance from it all, as though watching a future she was not part of shaping. But that was not the only weight she carried. There was another, quieter, heavier, one that had lingered in her life far longer than this wedding. She had not given Dalot a child. Not for lack of trying, not for lack of hope. Time and time again they had sought it, through patience, through effort, through silent prayers that no one else heard. But nothing had come of it. And though she was still young, though there was still time ahead of her, the absence had begun to speak louder than reassurance. At times, she would bring it to him, not in accusation, but in quiet vulnerability. And each time, Dalot would respond the same way, calmly, gently. He would remind her that she was still young, that time had not passed her by, that not all things come when expected, but that did not mean they would never come at all. He did not reject her concern, he softened it, he held it away from becoming something heavier. And for a moment, each time, It worked, but only for a moment. Because when she was alone again, the silence returned. And now, with the wedding drawing closer, with Gabrielle stepping into a future that Amanda herself had never fully secured, those thoughts grew sharper, louder, more difficult to ignore. Still, the preparations did not slow. In Tyre, the kingdom transformed day by day into something greater than itself. In Sigrid, plans continued to align, each step bringing the two powers closer together. And across the Eastland, eyes began to turn, not towards war, not towards conflict, but towards something that, in its own way, held just as much power: a union. But beneath the beauty of it, beneath the music, the banners, the gathering of kings, there were truths not yet spoken, feelings not yet confronted, and tensions not yet broken. Because sometimes the grandest celebrations are built on the quietest storms.